Good morning. My name is Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to Community Focus on this Sunday. This week, I spoke to Councilwoman Vanice Williams of District 4 regarding gun violence, as well as her expectations for the new year. We've recently seen this rise in gun violence here in the city of Toledo. We just had our 70th homicide. So, what is your message to your constituents about ways to address this issue?
First off, the rise in gun violence is across the country. We've experienced an unprecedented amount of violence throughout the nation, and it's hard for anyone. I typically don't talk about gun violence. I try to maneuver and do prayers that way because I am a child that grew up around gun violence. So I do have a little bit of PTSD myself and understanding on a lot of times it's not about what you say, it's about what you do. One thing that I know for sure within the central city and specifically District 4, gun violence is a symptom of poverty and disinvestment. That's my belief, and that's had proven data around it. Usually crime and violence is definitely a symptom of poverty.
There are definitely many issues that we're facing as a city right now that have contributed to this. But one of them is that, like you mentioned, that lack of investment in the community. And one of the things that recently has been a hot topic is 1201 Door Street, a gas station in your district, District 4. And you said that you wanted to meet with the owner. And have you had that meeting yet with the owner, and what was discussed?
I did meet with the owner. Actually, this Friday, we just had a meeting. And my stance held firm. They did let me know the ownership hierarchy of the organization and the ownership. They've had ownership of that property, where their family has had ownership of that property since roughly 2001, I think it was. And it's been a nuisance ever since. So I did meet with the owners, and they have to take it back to the community because my stance stays as it is. You cannot come into our neighborhoods and be the status and not be above the status quo. Just because violence is going on around, it doesn't mean that you have to allow it to happen at your business. I'm a businesswoman. I would never let anything be a detriment to a community that my business is in.
As we're preparing to enter the new year, that means new goals, new priorities for 2022. For you, what does that list of priorities for you look like?
When I first got on council, I had real quality of life goals when I first got on council. That was to make sure the folks in the Greenbelt Parkway apartments had a quality environment, a home. And now I'm excited to say that we're heard about that. The Greenbelt Apartments owner has had his feet to the fire by not only city government, but our federal government. So I'm glad that that quality of life item is being worked on, but we still have more work to do with it. The other one was to create a boxing program for Central City youth that crossed all boundaries. Wanted to be a league that our guys and girls can fight locally and not have to always travel. And that's something that the city can get behind. Also wanted to make sure that PAL had some advancements to them, to their location. That's in the works right now. Also wanted to work on quality foods and to make sure that Central City actually had quality foods with economic development is in the form of grocery stores. Also working on youth programming for every child in this city. And that's something that we're working on. And my goals still hold the same. Really just want to focus on quality of life of the constituents that are within my district and within the city, because if we can get quality food in one district, we can get it in all. So definitely working on those items still, as they're still not Not there yet. So still focusing on those top 5 quality of life items.
This year, the city spent $1 million on summer programming. There are various programs for kids in the city of Toledo to participate in. So do you anticipate a larger investment next year?
I do. And they actually spent $850,000, not a million. We approved $1.4 million, but they didn't spend it all. So hopefully we can roll that over into this. We should have the application for interested parties was released on December 15th. And this is way before we did last year. Last year it was quick, hit them, let's get it out. Now we can actually be intentional with the program that we have. Now we can actually work with some grassroots organizations that are already working with children and have the data behind it so that we can actually have more Central City youth involved in the programming.
That was one thing that was brought up during the community meeting that was held on last Wednesday to address gun violence was the programming that we already have. So do you see City Council considering legislation to approve more money for these programs that are already on the ground doing the work?
Oh yeah, I mean, in the plan for ARPA, there's over 2 million just for some 2.5 million for summer programming. So that's definitely more than what we've ever had before. The only thing that I am concerned with is longevity, sustainability, because one thing that I am not for is starting something and then stopping it because we don't have the longevity. So we need to start reaching out beyond city lines and say, okay, let's see some organizations that have deep pockets that can put towards this on a consistent basis. One thing that I know, even in our own personal households, is that we always cut youth programming or something to do with our youth, even in our homes. We cut out fun recreational things for our kids first before we cut out paying a bill. So we need to start looking at that and seeing long term, those bills will get paid, but our kids are our future. So we need to focus on them.
We've definitely heard plenty from the community and the adults in the community, but have you heard from the youth as they're the ones that are primarily affected by this? So what have you heard from them?
Yes. So one thing that I pride myself on is being able to talk to youth, being a previous high school principal at a dropout recovery and also owning a child care center. One thing that I'm seeing firsthand, just with the pre-K, we need the pre-K. We have so many children under 5 struggling in their households, the parents struggling. I have some kids that's had lead poisoning. So those are some things that we definitely need to push and work for. And a lot of the youth say they just don't have anything to do. One thing I know for sure is when I was a youth, an at-risk youth, that at risk as I would have been deemed, is that when you don't have a sustainable household and there's so much trauma within the household, it's so hard to see beyond your situation. So we have to find creative ways to show kids things that are beyond the situation in front of them right now, because right now in the era of social media, right now is what they want.
Finally, what is your outlook on 2022? We discussed so much and some of the things that we're anticipating, but overall, what is the city of Toledo in 2022 going to look like in your eyes?
So for me, I always am a glass half full type of person, just because I focus on the positives. We have done so much, and with the council being the makeup as it is, with children being a lot of our focus, I think that this year will bring a lot of prosperity for our youth. I think we will work more for our youth than we've ever done before. And I know that my colleagues will say it as well. The thing is, focusing on symptoms of colds or a virus is the hardest thing to do. You have to focus on the actual virus. And the virus for us is poverty. And I hate to use that cliche with COVID being so rampant right now and affecting us so much. We do have to focus on the actual heart of what the problem is, because a heart will attack and the blood will still be pumping. So we have to focus on that heart and make sure the heart and the root of the problem is taken care of. And that way the blood will flow. So yes, I use a lot of analogies, but I am so excited to see what new things can happen. I'm so excited to go with the momentum that we have. We have 180 million still to spend. So I'm so excited to see what that brings us.
There are still so many possibilities. Councilwoman Vanice Williams of District 4, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jaden.